So when we left off, you guys had just killed a zombie hill giant and finished your rests, woke up, prayed, and you're pretty much good to go. Is there anything that you guys want to do this morning?
Grun would actually like to share not so much the details of, but the fact that Dowreth spoke to him during his prayers and kind of explained to the party that what's happening is Dowreth and Shero are apparently almost like elder gods, and Dowreth has currently rounded up the other deities and is imprisoning them in revenge for having sealed he and Shero away. Oh, yes, his eventual plan is to kill the gods and Shero and the Stormlord. And apparently, there's also a fourth being that actually terrifies, well, I'm assuming terrifies Dowreth because he's seeking power to fight against it. And if this creature wins, it's kind of the end of everything. So, yeah, good morning.
That that is wonderful news.
Isn't it just fantastic? Yeah, yeah. So,
You must
yeah,
have slept like a baby, Grun.
yeah, sleep. Yeah, sure. I'm sure I got plenty of it. Yeah, it's been a long night. However, so far as I can tell, Kalimvor is still out there, granting me some of his presence and, if not his guidance.
And you're sure this is prophecy and not just some like really weird spoiled meat we ate or something that just caused this dream?
Pretty sure that seeing as how I've eaten just rations, yep, I'm pretty confident that the voice that spoke to me in my head while praying, that was not Kalimvor, and identified itself as Dowreth a few times, and got a little um, pissy at one point. Yep, pretty sure that it was not the rations.
Well, we may be a little over our heads.
Yeah, so Dowreth claims that the undead are indeed the acts of his followers, but he doesn't really care what they're doing with them. He just gives them the power to raise the undead, and beyond that, he doesn't really care what they do about it.
He's just really about seeding the chaos.
No, he seems very interested in the link between the new gods and mortals, the power that the gods seem to receive from us. He doesn't seem to understand that concept and seems interested in exploring that, trying to gain power from followers here. So I feel like he's just kind of granting it to anyone who seeks it out. I don't know. I have a
Hmm.
feeling maybe kidnapping the gods wasn't just for revenge. A lot of that is Grun's opinion.
Did it seem to you, Grun, that only Sharo opposes him?
The Stormlord, the third of the trio, appears to be almost in hiding. Dowreth seeks him out as well. There's a fourth. Murgafi was apparently once a pet, but now it's become something I feel beyond Dowreth and Shero. But they still seem to be allowing their petty differences to get in the way of bigger things. Grun says that last kind of loudly and like kind of looking up, like he's speaking in case Dowreth is listening.
Any more insight as to what we should be doing besides carrying a book?
I still think our current objective of getting the book and perhaps getting some answers from that is still a good goal. We just have to realize that the scope of our actions it, it's bigger than I think any of us originally thought.
Well, I think we can do it.
Well, in for a penny, I guess.
I think we have to do it. We're currently the only ones in a position to do so, and I don't know, but for me, getting ensuring the safety of everybody and the freedom of Kalimvor are pretty high up on my list of to dos.
Well, I like this plan,
Right? It has grapes.
and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Me too. So, when do we go?
No time like the present. I think we need something to pull the wagon, though. Ready?
Um,
It's going to be a bunny.
And if I could show you all what I wrote here in the sand for a moment, I was thinking about our night watches and how perhaps we should establish an ongoing one that's predictable. And this is what I came up with. And he's written something in the sand.
So it's a baboon.
In the sand?
No, a
Like
baboon
the
to pull the
animal.
cart.
So if you have a look, I've just broken the night down into 4 segments. And if we divide ourselves thus, I think we will have at least someone during each watch that fulfills those criteria: perceptive, defensive, and dark vision.
Well, I like the PowerPoint.
What
Yes.
is a PowerPoint?
So that's Grun on Midnight Watch.
I was thinking that the first and last slots you could discuss between you, because if you, King Grun, might prefer the first watch, as it would allow you to do your evening prayers while King Skippy begins the watch.
So my prayer time is in the mornings, dawn, but he is fine with doing the midnight watch. That's still fine.
Oh no, the King Grun, your initials are KG.
Okay, I thought it was G. All right, then I'm quite okay with that. I thought it was G.
But you are King Grun.
I see that now. My foolishness. It's still early. As a Grun rubs sleep out of his eye.
I thought canary was spelled with a C.
No, of course Canary is spelled with a K. You're all very confusing in the morning.
Skippy kind of slaps himself in the face, shakes his head, and turns and walks away to find a bush or something.
I like the idea that we have this kind of a conversation every morning.
Anyway, it was just a thought while having my meditations.
Yeah, the watch thing sounds good.
Yeah, I'm happy to try it, and if there's any problems, we can work from there.
Skippy tries to wave his hand and not get pee on himself.
So the baboon is small and not strong enough to get the cart going.
So Grun will place his pack in the cart. Well, not that it makes any difference in what's about to happen, and we'll start trying to pull the cart along.
Or Fred can pull out another animal.
I don't know, should we save that for...
And that one's a jackal, so I'm not sure that a baboon and a jackal are going to be able to do anything other than maybe have like a nice little show tune type interlude.
They can take kind of over for Grun and keeping a watch while he pulls.
We need a dog sled harness.
I'm not sure Fizzle could pull anything. He's like 10 pounds.
Yeah, he's even smaller than the jackal.
But the combined power would be mighty.
Yeah, I'll push from the back.
Skippy would probably be in the back of the wagon, pushing at the front where you sit.
And I will help him off of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, between Grun and Ariadna, you two are both ridiculously strong. So you're not actually losing all that much speed compared to having a single mule bringing the cart along. Yeah, so it should work just fine.
Excellent. We'll go slow if we need to kind of rest and recover to try to avoid exhausting ourselves.
Gaelen will attempt to gather provisions.
It's not overly hot today while you guys are going, although it is definitely getting warmer than it has been when it was rainy. Provisions aren't difficult to find as you're still in the Orc lands, and so you see the odd village along the way. I don't know if you guys are going into them or not. There was some talk last time because the hill giant was walking through that you wanted to avoid settlements, so I'm not sure if that's just at night or during the day as well.
I think avoiding it at night's the priority, but if we can feel comfortably safe, it's clear in the daytime, I think it's still worth at least checking out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, the settlements that you see, there's no activity in them whatsoever. Gaelen, you managed to scavenge enough food for 4 people today, so someone will have to eat some rations.
I will eat the rations.
The travel through the day is fairly uneventful, other than coming to these empty settlements, and you can refill your barrel of water from the wells and the settlements as you go. There's no problems there. By the end of the night, you figure you should be pretty close to the edge of Orc lands now. and there is a settlement nearby.
Well, my philosophy is that if it hadn't been for somebody clunking around and drawing the attention of the zombie hill giant, it probably would have just left us alone even though we were in the settlement.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Hmm.
Oh, me. Yeah.
And don't
right.
we have a
Yes.
plan to deal with that now? Like wake up the sneaky people? So I think in the settlement still may be the better idea.
I agree.
We do need to take a rest before we start going through what appears to be open desert.
Okay. In this settlement, you don't find anything so large as a building, but there are several tents that are still standing up, despite nobody having been in this area for quite a while. Can I get a survival check?
I'll aid whoever has the highest.
I think you and I both have 5. So,
I can roll.
yeah, I'll aid you. Seeing as I can't reroll 1s.
Cheating halflings.
Huh, wow. How about a 12?
Wow, Skippy, I didn't notice how much hair you had on your feet.
As you guys are heading into the settlement to prepare to find a place to rest, you do see footprints, or what you think are footprints. They're very faint in the sand.
Can one of us other folks who doesn't have a +5 take a look at those?
For sure.
I have tracking, so I can do that too.
Okay.
What the heck?
So,
And she drops the mic.
so our quote-unquote trackers say, hey, it looks like might be footprints there. And the other 3 people in the party all take a look, and they're like, yep, those are definitely footprints, humanoid looking and heading west along the same direction you guys are going.
Yes,
Can we tell how
exactly.
many sets there are?
1.
Is that good berry?
It could be Vinny. He could have escaped and is hoping to reach the druids still. Grun apparently being the only guy holding out hope for Vinny.
No, I've just adopted the name for him now. I'm still hopeful.
I like Vinny.
Can we track the footprints?
The footprints that you've seen kind of die out at the edge of the settlement. You figure that the tents in the area have provided some protection from the wind, and so that's why they're a little better preserved here than out in the desert.
What time of day is it at this point?
It's getting towards nightfall.
All right, so set up camp, set up a bit of a perimeter, and then rest up.
Hey, Fred, maybe you should send your jackal out to see if he can track down in case it is Vinny.
That's a great idea. Hey, Jackie, can you go do that?
Jackie the jackal starts sniffing around. Give me a check for survival, I guess.
He has keen hearing and smell.
Yeah, so he'll get, we'll make it a perception check, and he can have advantage on it. All right, Jackie has picked up the scent and is running off to the west.
Follow that jackal.
So
Well-
we're not gonna set up camp?
Why didn't you tell him to just come back when he found the thing?
Well, that would have probably been a good idea in hindsight, but now he's off there, so let's follow him.
Well,
Maybe just a few of the more easily mobile people follow just a short distance and then come back and fill us in. The rest of us can kind of start settling in.
because splitting the party always works out in our favor.
What's the
I
jackal
think
gonna do
that
to
the
him?
fact that we're still alive has shown us been fine.
Well, I could send the baboon to find the jackal.
I like where this is going. Let's do that.
Tell the baboon to come back with the jackal when he finds him.
Okay, George, go find Jackie, and then tell him to come back here and tell us what he found.
George of the Jungle.
I guess roll perception for the baboon, who does not have any kind of bonuses to smelling things out.
I would just like to point out that Fizzle is over here hassling me because he's very concerned that I'm a little annoyed.
He wants his dinner.
All right, George runs after the jackal.
But what is the jackal gonna do to Vinny when he gets him?
Well, he's not going to attack him.
Hopefully he'll try singing the song we've been working on.
Isn't that what jackals do, though?
Not when they're summoned.
Yeah, the summoned ones will listen to orders, and the jackal's orders were to find Vinny, and the baboon's orders are to bring the jackal back.
She swallowed the spider to catch the fly.
If that baboon comes back here carrying a jackal, we're gonna have words.
So, while you're waiting for the animals to do their thing, what are you guys up to?
Let's set up camp.
I'd like to try to disguise the cart, either by like hiding it in a tent or using the fabric of a tent to hide it.
No problem. There's lots of tents in the area.
Do you really think that Skippy and I should try and track ahead?
Let's wait on the animals, at least for a little while.
Well, I hope they come back soon because I wanted the baboon to help me try to build a fort.
I don't think that we're gonna have a whole lot of luck chasing a jackal through the dark myself.
I will help you with building the fort in the baboon's place.
Okay, you guys set up camp. No problem. Make your fort. And there's no sign of either animal by the time you get camp set up.
What time is it?
It is now just before nightfall.
Okay, so it's safe to assume there's something out there. It's not friendly, but it's dark and the worst possible time to go after it. So let's sleep really well with that knowledge and stay on guard.
Yeah, to push on like out of game experience is gonna cost us fatigue. So
Well, I mean, since it resets in the dawn anyway. Now I have a giant weasel, and I'm telling the weasel to stay here in the camp and watch us. And watch for the baboon and the jackal.
You and your pet shop, man.
Can I roll, I don't know, nature to see if I would be aware of this discrepancy?
I guess, yeah.
But see, one assumes that once the jackal found what he was looking for, the baboon would stop, and then the baboon could catch up.
The baboon could track him.
Well, he rolled really well on his nature check, or his tracking check, or whatever.
But do we know that?
I mean, you saw them both run off, and there was a noticeable difference that the jackal was running faster than the baboon.
I'm sure it'll all be fine. It's not like we're in the middle of some godpocalypse or something.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. Nothing at all yet like that.
I mean, you know, the zombie hordes and the hill giants with their very open sphincters.
I'd like to point out I said yet.
great. Now I'm never gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Don't worry, there's a giant weasel helping us.
I, for one, will sleep better knowing that.
I'm gonna keep watch for these first 4 hours, and I'm gonna keep my uncle's sword real close, and we'll just leave it at that.
Sounds good.
I have a question, the GM. If you cast a spell before going to bed and it's not concentration, will it last while you're asleep?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Before we go to bed, is anybody missing hit points? Are we all healed up?
I think we're full up.
Yeah, and if anybody's missing hit dice, you'll be getting some of those back from a long rest as well.
Okay. Fred, you're on first watch with me.
Oh boy. I don't have any like cards or anything this time.
I have some dice. But we're supposed to actually be keeping watch. So
You could play with the weasel.
No, I don't want to distract him. He's doing important work. And besides, not in public.
Okay, so the night passes uneventfully. There's no hill giant zombies walking through the desert tonight, and you wake up in the morning refreshed.
And the weasel and baboon never came back. Dang it.
Jackal.
And the jackal.
The jackal and baboon didn't come back.
Yeah, they despawn at morning, so go back to whatever magical entity that they came from.
Well, maybe you could summon something else that could track Vinny.
I think Skippy can track him.
Yeah, I can try.
Well, now I have another weasel. The weasel he's a giant weasel, so he could probably at least pull the wagon.
Do I have somebody to help me?
Yes, of course.
The giant weasel is man-sized and not overly strong. So I would say if it had some help, it might be able to.
I will help the weasel.
Meh.
You guys start soldiering on further west.
I will also do the tracking.
Apparently. Yeah, once you get out into the sand, the tracks disappear for the most part as the sand is blown over them. But Ari, you are picking up what you think might be subtle signs of footprints, and more to the point, you are able to track the smaller prints of the jackal and even the baboon, and they definitely headed in this direction.
Well, let's go this way.
Grun, you don't have any spells today.
Say what?
Grun doesn't have any spells today.
You're breaking up. Can't hear you.
Try this again. Grun doesn't have any spells today.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how clearly I can hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you fine. That's very unfortunate. No spells. So just like complete silence when I pray.
yeah, you hear absolutely nothing. You don't feel any sense of the divine at all.
Okay.
So you continue on west. You travel for several hours, and around lunchtime, you can start to see in the distance large buttes jutting into the sky.
My, those are beautiful buttes.
I like big buttes.
I don't know why.
I can't deny it.
Groan.
And out here, there's no sign of orcish settlements at all. And you're also not seeing anything in the way of wildlife or sources of water.
I'm not seeing anything along the lines of wildlife or water.
Perhaps we should look around before we go much further and see if there's anything we can gather up before we venture further.
The last settlement that you went through was the one that you left in the morning, so it's a half day's travel back.
But we would have topped up our barrel of water.
Yes, you had a chance to do that.
And we still have the rations that we were given to make this trip.
Yes, you have some rations. I don't think you have a full wagon full. Did somebody keep track of how many rations you were given?
I kept track of the rations I brought with me from Carthun, but that's it.
Same here.
I don't know if we got like a specific number ever given. I think we were just told we were going to be given rations for the trip, but I don't think a specific number was ever mentioned.
Okay, we'll say that they gave you 12 days worth of rations to split between the 6 of you, because Vinny had left with you with the intent that he would be making good berries for everybody. So you have whatever rations that you're carrying with you, along with 12 days in the cart.
I kind of miss that guy.
All right, so I have 1 day's rations other than what's in the cart.
I've got 3.
I have a few as well.
I don't know how many I have, to be honest with you. I haven't looked in my bag in a while.
Okay.
I got 7 rations right now because I haven't eaten in a long time out of my own bag. So
We should be good for a while. We've got 12 days worth times what, 6? Plus the ones we're carrying. I think we're good for the moment.
No, that's 6 times 2 is 12.
Oh,
Yeah, 12 days total to split amongst us.
I see. Well, in any case, we should be all right because it's only supposed to be like another day or so from here, right? 2 days, maybe? Did anybody remember how far we are with the thing we're supposed to go to?
I think it was a few days.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days sounds exactly right.
Well, let's keep going.
And just keep our eyes out for potential food sources just to be on the safe
And
side.
enemies.
we're not gonna eat the enemies.
Well, it depends on what they are.
I'm not opposed to scorpion.
If the enemies are not zombies, we will consider it.
So you guys travel on for a couple more hours, and there's several of these buttes poking up around the west, and as you travel through them, you can see more north and south as well.
Question, are any of the buttes easily climbable?
They don't look easily climbable, no.
Okay.
And so you travel for a few hours amongst those, and it's getting into late afternoon when you come to a canyon.
How deep? Is it grand?
It's probably somewhere around 100, 150 feet, depending on where you are.
And how far across?
It's quite a fair distance across.
Any bridges that we can see?
Perception checks, please.
Hey!
Yeah.
I can see clearly now.
Should have saved that for an attack, though.
So, Gaelen and Grun can see, well, everybody can see a bridge to the north that spans the canyon, and it looks like it spans the entire length, stopping with what looks like a butte in the middle of it and continuing on. However, Gaelen and Grun notice that the bridge appears to be broken on the near side, and to the south you can see it's not a bridge that goes over the canyon, but it's a shallower area of the canyon that is white instead of the typical kind of sandy brown that you've been seeing around. And you also see that the bottom of the canyon is littered with caves here and there, and there is something asleep in the dying rays of the sun on the far side of the canyon floor.
Like something asleep, like something huge.
It would have to be to see it from where you guys are.
How is the bridge broken?
It looks like it's about a quarter of the way across the bridge, so halfway between the edge and the butte. You can see that there is light that you can see across it, so it looks like there's a piece of it that just sheared off.
Is this like a natural stone bridge?
You can't tell without getting closer, but you would guess it's not natural, just based on the shape of it and its placement.
So I might have myself turned around here. What end is the bridge on, and what end is the sleeping monstrosity?
The bridge that appears to be partially broken is to the north. The sleeping monstrosity is to the west, and the shallower white area is to the south. Also, Ariadna, at this point, you notice that there are no more jackal or baboon tracks.
Can I find any Vinny tracks?
You can make a survival check.
I'll aid that.
Why don't you make the survival check? And then if,
Okay.
it's not going well, we can all do that or something.
Yeah, get to work, halfling.
I will aid you.
The 17 is good enough. You do see tracks, and they go south.
It looks like he went south from here.
Well, I think that looks like our best bet anyway. How about we head that direction?
I agree.
The way that leads into the canyon that the sleeping monstrosity is in?
Well, I didn't say we were going in there.
I was just clarifying.
But, what good is it going to do for us to stand here?
It's as good a direction as any. I'm not sure I trust that bridge.
That's to the north, though.
That's why we want to go south.
Okay, so you guys are heading south?
South.
Does it look like the way down into the canyon will accommodate the cart?
Oh.
That's a good question. It's hard to tell from where you guys are right now. You can't really see where this shallower area comes up to the edge that you're on, so you'll have to actually go there to check.
Let's do that.
Okay, it's not a long trip to get to that area. Maybe half an hour of walking along the top of the canyon, and you see that it does indeed come all the way up to the top of the canyon and kind of bows down in the middle and then rises back up on the other side.
Can we tell what it is?
Give me perception checks.
I don't see anything.
Neither do I.
Ariadna, as far as you can tell, it looks like white sand.
Do any of us know anything about white sand in the desert? It's not going to explode when we step on it or something, right?
My gut is reminding me of arachnid minefields.
Can I roll a survival check to see if there's something ominous that the environment might be telling me about this sand?
Maybe a nature check.
I will aid that.
Oh, look at that. I have nature.
Yeah, you do. Double proficiency, I think.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, you have definitely seen white sands like this around Corthun, around the beaches.
Yeah, I've seen this sand around in the Carthun area, I guess. Down by the beach. I don't know what it would be doing here, though.
Keeping my ears peeled.
Yeah, Gaelen, you take a look at where the great big beast was, and it's still there.
Any more Vinny tracks?
Give me a survival check looking for Vinny.
I will aid Skippy.
I'm listening for water.
Gaelen, give me a perception check.
Ooh, there we go.
It does look like his tracks went through the white sand.
Wow, I'm apparently saving it for combat.
Yeah, you don't hear anything at all from around the area.
So here's my suggestion. Just because the sand is in a weird place and, we're not super sure what's going on with it, I think we ought to approach it with some caution. Maybe we should send the weasel over without the cart.
That's a good idea.
It worked well with the shadows.
I suppose.
Just make sure you tell him to stop on the other side, okay? And then come back.
I'm going to very patiently explain to the weasel what my party wants him to do and give him a hug before he goes off and does it.
What's his
Skippy
name?
will give him a hug too.
His name is also George.
I will pet George.
No, also George.
I will pet also George.
Okay, giant weasel. So it's a medium beast, and so it's just running across to the other side and back?
Mm-hmm.
It's not trying to be stealthy or anything, it's just going for it?
Well, now that you say that, but I guess he's just gonna be a normal weasel.
Weasels are fairly sneaky.
He's gonna weasel his way across.
Okay, make a dex save.
Oh, that's bad.
Remember, no crit fails on a save.
A 4 is pretty terrible.
Poor also George.
So you see also George bounding along this white sand and goes about 30 feet out, no problems at all, and his foot hits something, and you see this large white, could be a rib bone from a gigantic animal, come poking up out of the white sand, and also George just continues to run, and you hear loud snapping sounds coming from underneath the white sand.
Also, George, look out!
Run, also, George, run!
So also George continues to run, looking around it as it does so, and you watch as a large swarm erupts from the white sands and attacks also George.
A swarm of what?
Well, by the time they come out, they're about 60 feet away, and you can't really tell. They're tiny little things that are making this snapping sound that you heard.
And are they pursuing also
Fizzle
George?
doesn't like it.
No, I agree. Let's go another way.
Poor Vinny.
I can't say I've had the best of luck with swarms of insects.
Can we see another way? Maybe further south of here?
Not from here, no. And the swarm rises up and chases after the weasel, but the weasel is managing to stay just outside of its swarm and continues running.
Shoot the swarm.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, you can take a shot at it if you want.
Audible
I ain't gonna hit it.
sigh.
Oh, no.
Sorry, also George.
You fire, and the arrow goes straight through the swarm without hitting anything, and hits also George. Please roll damage.
Poor also George.
He's been Gaelened.
Ouch.
And also George vanishes into the ether. The swarm, with no weasel to attack, turns around. And initiative, please.
Gaelen looks at Freddy and says, well, now also George won't be devoured by the swarm.
Oh, I guess if you want to look on the bright side.
Can we run with the cart?
Oh, wow.
0 initiative.
Does that mean he's comatose?
You know what? Grun decides to sit this one out because he was against shooting the swarm anyways. So it's like, you know what? You brought this on yourselves. I'll watch.
Oh, Skippy. You usually get your sneak attack off if you're one slower than I am.
I should be able to hold my action for your attack.
How fast is the swarm moving?
I'm going to hold my action until...
Don't do that yet. How fast is the swarm moving?
The swarm was easily keeping up with the weasel and gaining ground on it, and the giant weasel has a speed of 40.
And it was how far away?
It is, at this point, 80 feet away now.
Yeah, so Skippy, you'd know that Gaelen is not likely to be closing yet.
All right, I think that puts me into long range too, doesn't it, for this hand crossbow?
I believe so, yes. I think normal range is up to 30 feet for you.
Yeah.
Aim.
Yeah, I'll aim.
That is a hit.
Yeah, it's not stellar, but there's some there.
You didn't kill an ally.
Victory. Gaelen, you're up.
Gaelen will draw another arrow and mumble something about "let's try this again."
14 misses.
Where is Gaelen in comparison to the rest of the people in the group?
That's a good question. I've just got you all kind of lined up along the edge of the canyon here, just before the white sand. The way I have it laid out was just arbitrary. I've got Grun, Skippy, Gaelen, Ariadna, Freddy, and Fizzle.
I would have been close to the cart.
I was pushing the cart.
The cart's right behind you guys.
Well, whatever makes the most sense. I'm aiming for putting Gaelen front and center, but within 5 with Ari.
That's where you are right now.
Perfect.
Okay, anything else on your turn?
I know.
Ari, you're up.
And where am I in relation to the swarm versus everybody else? Basically, I just want to be within 5 of of the people I can get near, especially melee folks, but closer to the swarm than they are if I can get there.
You can take a 5-foot step forward onto the white sand, and Freddy and Gaelen will still be just behind you in a 5-foot step.
Sounds good.
So you'd still be able to protect them.
Sounds good. I'm just painting a big old target on myself. And I will hold action if the swarm gets close enough to me to hit, I will hit it.
Okay. Freddy.
So I would like to try to cast sleep on this swarm.
Okay.
And I've not done that before, so I'm not sure what I need to do for that.
You're going to roll 5d8, and I have to see if there's any special rules for swarms, like if you put individual creatures in the swarm asleep, or how that works.
Yeah, the swarm is definitely a special case when it comes to sleep.
Yeah, I think we'll just treat it as though you do damage with the sleep spell to it, that these things are going to just fall out of the swarm.
As long as we remember to step on them afterward.
Yeah, if they wake up in a minute, then they will continue after you. So yeah, roll 5d8.
Oh my.
Okay, so the majority of the swarm just drops off to sleep. Is there anything else that you're going to do with your turn, Freddy?
Not at the moment.
Okay, and Fizzle's just keeping there with you?
Yes.
Note to self, sleep is like fireball to swarm.
It sure looks that way. So the swarm double moves forward, and Ariadna, you will get your attack on them.
With my hammer, by the way. Oh, nice.
That's a crit.
Well, those were sucky rolls, so.
Yeah, you get a couple of these what are giant insects, and as they flap their wings, they emit this awful snapping sound. And they weren't alone, as another swarm erupts from the sands and flies up and over the group and behind Skippy and Grun. And that group is close enough that it can attack. 1 is Skippy, 2 is Grun.
Does it make me a bad person if I'm happy about that?
Not at all.
That's not what makes you a bad person.
Yes. Yes, it.
Grun does an 18 hit.
Yes, it does.
You take 14 points of damage as these bugs crawl all over you and bite you on every piece of exposed skin they can find, and even crawling underneath your armor to bite at you.
Ow, 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 ow.
And next up is Grun.
I have 0 of the spells, Sir Gaelen. 0 of the spells.
Whose turn is it now?
Oh, you can absolutely die.
It's Grun's turn.
Whoa, wait, I have a turn with a 0 initiative? Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah, you're dead last, but you do get a turn as long as you're still conscious.
Wow, I thought that meant I was just drooling out of the corner of my mouth looking at the scenery. Alright, so, by no spells, I'm assuming that includes my cantrips?
That's correct.
I start swatting at these bugs that are swarming all over me.
Okay. That's a hit.
So I just start swatting at the bugs crawling under my armor, trying to crush them.
Okay. So yeah, you managed to dig a couple out from under your armor and squash them, but there's still tons there. And we're going back up to the top of the order with Skippy. You've got a couple of bugs swarming around in front of you and a whole bunch behind you and around Grun.
I will take out my 2 daggers and pounce on Grun, trying to help him.
Well, don't pounce on Grun.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Pounce on the bugs.
Pouncing on the bugs, pouncing on Grun.
Exactly. If I aim, do I get advantage on the... I would get advantage against the shot on them, right?
Isn't aim for ranged weapons?
Oh, yeah, right, sorry. Getting caught up in the rules here.
No worries.
But you do get sneak attack, I think.
Yeah, Grun is definitely within 5 feet of him.
And you're really the best person to help out in this situation because that whole avoiding the one thing.
That's a hit.
That was that was my crossbow roll, sorry.
Well, it's the same roll, you just make your adjustment to your hit, right?
Yeah, it's just +5 instead of +6.
Yeah, so it'd be a 9.
Yeah,
19.
so you still would have hit.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Snake eyes.
Who is saying he's the best one to help?
Can't re-roll those ones.
Well, at least he didn't stab Grun.
That's true.
It's better than what the weasel got. Poor also George got an arrow up the butt.
No, or mine.
Yeah.
If those are my other options, I'm happy with how things are going so far.
Skippy, are you doing anything else on your turn?
Yes, I'd like to disengage.
I mean, you remember what Gaelen did to that poor hill giant. Is that what you want?
Yeah, because you only attacked with one hand,
Oh
right?
God, no.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, so you can disengage. And how far away are you moving?
Just a 5-foot step. Away from anything.
Okay, I'll put you beside Gaelen and away from the bugs.
Okay, thanks.
Next up is Gaelen. Yeah, you've got the smaller swarm right beside you, and then you'd have to take a 5-foot step closer to Grun to attack the other swarm that's larger.
Galen looks at Ari and says, "You got this?"
Sure.
He'll take his first attack against the swarm that he's adjacent to.
Okay.
I'm sorry, which swarm did you say? You're going to get the ones after Grun?
I will, but this one can take an attack of opportunity against me if I don't attack it first. So I'll attack this one first.
Ah,
That's a miss.
I will spend a key and flurry, and then I will step away to the other one. I assume there's no such thing as a flanking opportunity against these guys.
No, I think we discussed flanking swarms before, and we decided that you can't flank tiny things like that.
Sure. So I'm moving over to Grun. I'll try and keep myself in between that swarm and anybody else, but not in Skippy's way if possible.
That's a hit. And sorry, that was the swarm that is on Grun right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
oh my gosh, the damage dice hate us today.
And that's also a hit.
Psychic is fired.
Oh my goodness. That's four,
Minimum damage for everyone.
that's 4 ones in a row on damage.
More than that,
That's
because I
crazy.
also had a 1.
Did you? Oh my gosh. I think I got one more attack. Wait.
That was
nope.
3.
1, 2, 3. I missed the first one. Yep. That's me.
Anything else on your turn?
No.
Next up is Ari.
I will try to hammer smash whatever's closest to me in terms of swarming.
Yeah, there's one right beside you. That's a miss.
Is there a way I can step closer to Gaelen and Grun without getting more than 5 feet away from Freddy? Or attack of opportunity or any of that kind of stuff?
If you step closer to Gaelen and Grun, you will be leaving Freddy behind.
Okay. I will stay put.
Okay, next up is Freddy.
Given that sleep affects things starting at ascending order of current hit points, I'm going to cast sleep on the swarm attacking Grun.
Okay. It says it's within 20 feet of the point that you choose. So if you do somehow happen to do more hit points than the swarm has, it'll spill over to the other swarm as well, because they're pretty close together.
Oh yeah, because you could choose a spot between them.
2 more ones. I'm having a real hard time believing that this sidekick thing is random at this point.
It is not playing fair.
Yeah, this is there's something wrong here.
Yep. Certainly looks that way. So there are still bugs in both swarms, and it's their turn.
This doesn't count.
That looks like a pretty good array, actually.
Yes. Trying to clear the whatever filter it's got going right now.
Oh, great! You cycled around to the ones again. You're not a nice man.
Okay, so the one swarm is attacking Ariadna. Sorry. And you take 15 points of damage. And the other swarm is still parked on Grun. Again, sorry.
So Grun is down.
Well, this is the
Grun
damage.
takes 8 damage.
Oh, I thought the 21 was my damage. Oh,
No, that was to hit you. And then there's 3d4 because it's less than half hit points. Grun takes 8.
okay. Grun is very, very badly hurt.
And it's Grun's turn.
I'm still swatting away, man.
That hits.
If you can get closer to me, that would be good, because all my spells are touch, and I can't actually move. Just FYI.
Yeah, I might as well bring the swarm with me. So yeah, after I swat, I will start moving closer to Ariadna.
Okay, she is 10 feet away, and that will take you out of the swarm.
Which means they'd get an attack of opportunity, correct?
Yes.
Just shuffle as close as you can get without doing that.
I'll move 5 feet then, closer to Ariadna.
Well, here's the thing. Gaelen is in that space, and if you move to the other space beside Gaelen, you are leaving the other swarm's threat range. So you really can't move at all without getting...
You know what? At this point, being closer to Ariadna is still the better option.
So let me come to you.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, Grun was just about to jump 10 feet.
Stay.
So Grun, you're not doing anything then?
I mean, I'm used to having other things, so no. I will be doing nothing currently.
Okay. Back up to the top of the order. We've got Skippy.
I use my bonus action to whimper. That's what I do.
Aw, poor Grun.
So there's still nothing within my like adjacent to me, right?
Nope.
Okay, I will take my hand crossbow and aim at the swarm that's on Grun.
Good luck.
Whoa! It doesn't hurt that bad. It doesn't hurt that bad.
He can't get a 1. You're okay.
Yeah, but
he can if he rolls 2 of them.
But he can get a 2.
That's not a critical failure.
He's pointing a crossbow at me. How much of a difference is it going to take?
Eh.
This is where we find out if Sidekick is against us.
That's not bad.
That's a hit.
No, that is a positive.
And sneak attack dice.
Right, sorry.
Technically, I'm flanking.
That's not that bad.
You can't flank a swarm.
And somehow Skippy lines up this amazing shot and takes out the last few bugs with 1 crossbow bolt.
Tee.
Bug kebab.
man, that's some trick shot.
No kidding. Anything else on your turn, Skippy?
I'll just blow the smoke off the end of my hand crossbow barrel.
Nice. Gaelen, you're up.
Okay, I got to step back to the other swarm. Is that right?
No, you're still beside it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, they're large-sized swarms, so there's lots of them.
And this swarm seemed like it was weakened more than the other swarm, or this one still seems strong.
It's also very weak. There's only a few bugs left in it.
Okay,
that's a hit, and down it goes. As the last bugs fall, the sound of snapping fades away, echoing across the canyon.
Okay. So y'all want to go maybe stomp on the ones that are sleeping while I heal Grun a bit?
Skippy will hop down and start jumping up and down on top of one, probably doing little damage.
Yes,
Nope.
Immediately.
Just wake it up.
Wake up, little bug.
Yeah, even Skippy can manage to squash these when they're sleeping and prone. So yeah, you guys just stomp all over the bugs that are around you. However, the other bugs that are sleeping are still 80 feet away in the white sand.
Even Skippy.
Grun, how many hit points are you down?
22 of 26.
So you just got 4 more and 6 more. So that's 10 altogether so far. How many are you down now? My math is offline.
I am now down 12.
Okay. So I'm going to lay on hands for 5 for you and 5 for me.
Thank you very much.
But now I only have 5 points of healing left in me. And I'm still down 10. So, we need those bugs dead. ASAP. Hopefully without waking up some more.
While I'm squishing bugs, can I look down the canyon to see if the sleeping monstrosity has woken?
Yeah, give me a perception check. You can see that it has lifted its head and it appears to be looking up at all of you, but it hasn't moved from its position.
Oh, great.
I suggest we don't challenge its authority.
Yes, let's just go get those bugs dead. Yeah?
There goes plan A.
Yeah, stomping bugs.
Ariadna, how many turns did you have to spend with your various healing things that you did?
3.
Am I right that you cast 2 Cure Light Wounds
And lay on hands?
2 Lay on Hands?
Oh, so I guess that would be 4.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of how many turns those bugs have been asleep by the time you guys decide to go get them.
Skippy and Gaelen are not waiting for her to finish her spells.
Yeah, that was the whole reason I said go stomp the bugs.
Oh, I thought they were stomping the bugs around Grun.
Well, yeah, however long that took, and then off the other
Yes, those ones first.
Yeah, it would have taken them a couple of rounds to squish all those. There were quite a few sleeping there. You guys would have 2 turns before Ariadna finishes healing if you wanted to run out and squish the ones in the white sand.
Yes, sir.
I'm on it.
Okay, as you guys run across, you can feel that there's definitely hard and jagged things underneath the seemingly smooth layer on top, and more bones jut up from underneath with each step that you take across this bridge of sorts. You get to the bugs and start stepping on them. They don't squish very well in sand, though. They just kind of go underneath the sand as you squish.
Well, we'll pick them up and ring them.
Okay. I want you to roll damage for 3 rounds. Scratch that, 2 rounds, because it took you guys a little bit to run out there.
What is my unarmed damage? I don't know if I have. Oh yeah, I guess it does say it.
You can just use your daggers if you want.
Okay.
19 plus Galen's. That's lots, because they're sleeping. They don't get to dodge and take half damage. So yeah, you guys managed to clean up the remaining bugs before they wake up.
Gaelen will look at Freddy. Can Freddy? Sleeping bugs. Inspired.
Well, seemed like a good idea at the time.
Can we get the cart down here and across?
It looks like you should be able to.
Well, we no longer have a weasel. Fred?
Well, I think it should be Grun and Ariadna pulling across here, because then we're in control of it and we can make quicker decisions.
That is also true. I'm just thinking, might not be a terrible idea to have some more teeth and claws and whatnot on our side at this moment.
That is also true.
I just made an axe beak, and axe beak is pretty strong. It's like an ostrich.
Yeah.
I like that that's your comparison for kind of strong.
Hey, the emu war,
You do not want, okay, it's more like a
Hey, don't talk about the emu wars.
Have you ever heard of a cassowary?
Those things haunt your dreams.
All right, so it can accompany us over the bridge.
Okay, so it's just accompanying. You're not rejigging the harness to fit it?
No. Grun and I are taking the wagon. The axe beak is just our guardian. Freddy, set it to guard.
Okay, in memory of George, please guard.
Also George.
In memory of also George, that's his name.
What is the axe beak's name?
No, that's his name, in memory of also George.
I see.
I'm sensing a theme
my
starting here.
goodness.
We're going to have an abbreviation by the end of this campaign.
Perception check, please, everybody.
Well, Fred sees it.
Freddy, Yeah, as soon as you summon this Axebeak, you see and hear the beast down in the canyon stand up and roar.
Guys, I think we have a problem.
I was gonna say, I think I already know what we can use that axe speak for.
Maybe we send In Memory of Also George after the thing, and we all hightail across this thing, so we're at least on the other side of the canyon. How about that?
Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a long way away, so you can send what's his name in memory of also George.
Yes.
Yes.
In memory of also George, bravely charges down the slope of this white sand and off towards this great beast that is also running in your direction. You guys get in front of and behind the cart, and is anybody else helping to get it across faster?
Yeah.
Yeah, Skippy's in the back again, pushing against the front.
Push, Fred. Push.
All right, I'll push.
Fizzle's helping.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys get it moving at a pretty good clip with the party helping out as you watch this enormous lizard jumps on the axe beak and tears it apart before it vanishes. It roars out in anger as its prey has disappeared. At this point, you guys have managed to get the cart about halfway across the canyon, so you're at the lowest point in the sand bridge.
Go. How far is that thing away?
It's still a few 100 feet away, and it's just roaring really angrily. It's not actually coming closer to you guys.
Yeah, we're not stopping.
Does it have wings?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, thank God.
Go. Keep going.
You guys push the cart up the other side to the edge of the canyon, and the beast below has not followed you. Everybody make a perception check, please.
Poor In Memory of Also George.
Oh, that's interesting. Everybody except the halfling rogue. As you look back into the canyon, you notice you can see glimmers of copper and silver and gold now in the white sand as you had disturbed it with the cart rolling through and your feet. It looks like there are coins glittering in it.
Ooh, Skippy threads back.
Skippy can't see.
Skippy didn't see them.
All right, Skippy's probably cleaning his nails with his dagger or something.
And if anybody starts to go, does anybody? No, shush. Shush.
Grun shushes.
Yeah, Galen's definitely considering going back for the gold.
No.
No, not like even a bit. He's much more likely to go back for the beast.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
That's fair. So in the distance, not too far off, you can see what appears to be the edge of the jungle. Probably take you another hour or two to get there, and the sun is getting low in the sky by the time you cross the canyon.
So,
I think we should push at least till we're at the edge of the jungle,
Yes.
so that beast isn't close enough to reconsider.
Agreed.
you think the
agree.
jungle's safer than the desert that's filled with carnivorous bugs?
I know right here is not safe with Big Boy over there.
Okay. You guys continue hauling the cart away from the canyon towards the safety of the jungle. You're about halfway there when you all hear a tremendous boom. And the trees ahead, you can see a wave rippling across the top of the trees in the jungle, coming outwards that matches that booming sound.
So you know that it's safer?
Well, I'm reconsidering my statement in light of very recent new evidence.
Which way do we go?
How about north?
Well, here's the question: this explosion. So, would this, just for visualization purposes, would this be like an explosion and the shock wave blowing everything out from an explosion?
Yes, that's what it looks like. After a moment, the trees all settle down again, and it's as though it never happened.
I'm wondering if someone didn't just attack the druid grove.
Well,
Whatever the case, we just heard a loud noise. We have to find out what made it.
That is probably true.
Of course.
We do?
Is there another option?
Pretending we didn't hear it.
Yes.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We should actually
What?
try and figure it out.
What? Oh, that's a fantastic joke. That was good. Good.
You guys continue on towards the jungle. And the sun is getting quite low in the sky by the time you get there. I'd like everybody to make perception checks, please.
Yeah, I finally noticed something.
And nobody else did, so good for you. I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be bad if nobody hears this. From behind you, you hear and feel in the ground a rumble. It's very, very faint. Nobody else even notices it, but you do. You feel it through the soles of your feet.
It's kind of like Jurassic Park, eh?
Yeah.
You gonna mention this rumbling to anybody else there, Skippy?
I'll tap Gaelen on the shoulder or on the wrist.
Yes, Skippy.
I hear something coming. It sounds really big.
Gaelen will drop and put his ear to the ground.
As you drop and put your ear to the ground, you realize you don't need to listen. Looking back, there is something absolutely stunningly colossal heading your way from where the canyon was.
Oh, frick.
Ah, shit. Shoot.
It's the spirit of In Memory of George.
Just saved you a beep there, Ryan.
I'm going to start running.
Yeah, maybe inside the trees would be better.
So this is something colossal, but it's an individual thing.
Yes, it is absolutely massive. And in the dying rays of the sun, you can see that it is solid white in color.
Is it the abominable Sandman?
It doesn't matter. We're
We're
running.
Yeah,
running, and
what
we're
do we
running.
have-
This
what do we have
way,
around
we're
us?
running.
What do we have around us for places to get to and maybe get the cart behind?
Trees. Trees
The
in the
jungle.
forest.
Oh, how close are we to that?
You're right near the edge of the jungle at this point.
Oh, okay, then yeah, into the trees.
How thick are we talking about here? Are we going to have to abandon the cart?
At this point, no. You can see that there's enough space between some of the smaller trees at the edge of the jungle that you should be able to get the cart through no problem.
Okay, let's go in there and then
Quick.
cut sideways.
Quick.
Freddy,
I don't want to be running the same direction this thing saw us running when we ran in here.
I like it. Let's do it. We're doing it.
Freddy, as the party enters the jungle, you hear Fizzle whine. You see him laying down outside of the jungle with his tail tucked between his legs.
Well, I'm going to go get him and pick him up.
Why is Fizzle afraid of the jungle?
Because something in here sucks, but it can't be worse than what's
Don't
behind us
say
right
it
now.
Don't say things like that.
It can always be worse.
Said it, did it, cannon.
I'm going to telepathically ask Fizzle what's wrong.
And Fizzle telepathically tells you what's wrong.
The unfortunate thing is Grun is still running with the cart into the forest
Yeah,
while you're
me too.
picking up and telepathically communicating.
All right, I am going to temporarily dismiss my familiar.
Okay.
I'm kind of halfway between the forest and Freddy, kind of looking back and forth in panic.
Gaelen is looking around for anywhere that the cart might be able to be stashed, and he says to the group, "Are any of you skilled at hiding?"
No.
Nope.
So, guys, I should probably let you know that the reason why Fizzle didn't want to go in there is because he says it feels like the Feywind place where he goes when he's not summoned, and he was worried about not being able to be to leave if he went in there. So there's some powerful magic around this jungle.
I'd expect that of a Druid's Grove, and from there being a massive explosion here just like seconds ago. I'm not super surprised. I'm not too keen to be here.
I just
either.
didn't want him to be too scared, so I sent him back to his little pocket dimension for now.
You're a good master. Now, are we clear of the beast for the moment?
You have run clear into the jungle with the cart bouncing along with you, but you can still hear it coming, and it is definitely getting closer.
Well, if it's not going to stop, I'm not going to stop.
And so after a little while of running away from it, we change our direction to perpendicular, right?
Yeah, make a hard left and angle to try to come back out in the desert, and then we'll try to set up on the edge of the jungle, but away from the creature.
Okay. You guys change directions and head away from the path that you had been taking. And you continue on that way for a while before you hear trees being torn apart, ripped from the ground behind you, and the jungle sways with the screams of this colossal being.
Screams of pain or screams of like, I'm ripping everything up?
You're not sure. It's just loud. And the sounds continue to move deeper into the jungle, unabated.
Okay.
Yep, I'm fine with this as long as it's moving away from us at the moment.
I would like everybody to make Constitution saving throws, please.
Oh, bugger.
Oof.
Oh, double bugger.
Oof.
Ariadna, Freddy, Grun, you are all level 1 exhausted as you continue running through the night in this jungle, and you can hear this creature tearing the jungle apart behind you. And you hope that it will continue on deeper, but it doesn't. It turns in your direction, and you can hear it getting closer.
Can we take another turn toward the middle of the jungle now?
You can.
Does it sound like it's coming as quickly as it was before?
It's really hard to tell. There's just the sounds of uprooted trees, and you can hear a lot of smashing and breaking of everything behind you, but how fast it's moving, you can't really tell without seeing it.
What does exhausted do again?
Level 1 exhaustion gives you disadvantage on ability checks.
Okay.
So you turn towards the middle of the jungle. It is getting denser here, and I'm going to need a survival check to find a path for the cart.
I'm on it.
I'll back him up.
Meh.
You guys managed to find a path through
Grun's
the
got it.
trees. Grun, you're pulling the cart, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in front, and you can, you find a path that you can just squeeze the cart through the trees. The undergrowth is getting a little more sparse as the trees get taller here. There are vines, and you can hear and see out of the corners of your eyes jungle creatures running for their lives from the sound of the creature coming behind you.
We have to abandon that. We're gonna we travel faster without the cart, right?
You would be able to run without the cart, yeah.
Let's.
Have we seen any where that would be advantageous for us to turn and fight?
What?
No, I was just wondering if we have seen anywhere that would, we'd be able to set up some kind of trap or something to slow it or hinder it in any way.
Honestly, if it's tearing down trees as it goes, no, there's nothing that you can think to set up that would slow this thing down at all.
Okay, then yeah, we might have to just leave the cart.
Behind you, you see trees shaking violently, and as this creature comes within your line of sight, you also notice that some of the trees are flailing at it, hammering away at it with branches thicker than you are tall. And with each hammering strike, bits and pieces of what had been colossal creature fly away into the rest of the jungle, scattering. But it is definitely smaller than it had been when it initially started coming after you.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
So,
Okay, so the forest is attacking it, not us. This seems like a great time to finish this thing. I don't know about anybody else.
I say we just keep to the thinner parts of the forest and keep going and let the forest do most of the work for us. Because that still look pretty big to me.
Fair. Let's see how much longer we can run for, maybe.
Okay, give me another survival check.
Is it something I can assist on?
Yeah.
Yes. You assist one of them, and I'll assist the other one.
15.
I will assist you, Grun.
Yep.
Your assistance is greatly appreciated.
Yep. You find a way, continuing deeper into the jungle. And as you look behind this, the trees are continuing to hammer away at this thing. It's no longer large enough to be able to rip the trees out from the roots, and it's getting battered pretty badly, to the point that eventually it collapses.
Shall we go back and check that out?
Yeah, let's make sure it's dead.
Can I say thank you to the trees?
Yes, let us all say thank you to the
Sure
trees.
you can.
I'm going to call out to the trees. Hey, thank you very much. We're very sorry.
We appreciate the help.
There's no response from the trees.
Yeah, I didn't figure. Anyway, let's go find out what this big white thing is.
Just because we didn't see a response doesn't mean there wasn't one.
You guys head back to where this thing finally collapsed, and you can see that it's just a pile of white sand with shards of bones sticking out of it, various sizes.
Okay, so it was some kind of golem?
Like the same white sand.
Looks pretty similar, yeah.
Okay.
I immediately start digging in the sand.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
I'm going to look around and see if there's a place to set up camp. I'm tired.
That was with the assumption somebody was aiding me.
Same here.
Gaelen was most definitely not helping you dig through the sand.
Okay, then I would have got the 11, the first roll, so 14.
Actually, you would have been rolling at Oh no, you weren't affected by exhaustion. So, yeah, the 11 plus 3, so 14.
Well, you
Let me
could
make
ask
some
Fred for
calculations
some
here.
help. He's not doing anything useful otherwise.
I'm exhausted as well. What do I know about the I'm sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, do any of us know anything about this magical forest
I know nothing
jungle
about
thing?
Gaelen is, I believe, originally from Velshani, correct?
Yeah. Is this Velshani?
No, this is still quite a distance from Velshani. But you have heard stories about the Druid Grove that you guys have been heading towards, and that some of the Druids are especially powerful and can command nature to fight for them.
Oh, well, I am familiar with the druids in this area. They are very powerful, and it is not unheard of for them to command entire forests to do their bidding. If that's the case, then it seems we may already have friends.
Kind of what I was thanking the trees for is I was hoping whoever was talking to or helping us with the trees would make an appearance. But is there any way we can kind of figure out which directions that would be deeper into the jungle? Or
Probably heading towards the source of that big explosion is probably the center.
I concur. That should still be our target.
But first, sleep if we can.
Skippy, digging through all of the remnants of whatever this thing was. You do find some treasure mixed in with it.
Yay!
At this point, Grun is pulling himself into the back of the cart, pulling his blanket out, and getting ready to go to sleep in the back of the cart.
I would suggest that those of you who are tired and or injured take a short rest. I will go and see if I can find us anything to eat, and then we can begin our long rest.
I'll keep watch while you sleep.
Short rest is.
yeah, I'm pretty tired.
Does short rest get rid of exhaustion?
No, that takes a long rest.
But it does give you the opportunity to spend some hit dice to heal.
Fully healed. So once again, we leave the copper.
Oh
That
my
was even more
goodness.
helpful.
Canary, you don't seem very restful.
That just makes me sad.
I know, me too. All of the ones.
What is the spell on the spell scroll?
The spell on the spell scroll is Chromatic Orb.
I don't know nothing about spell scrolls.
I was going to say, would our resident wizard be interested in this?
Yes, please.
Alright, I will not put it in with the group funds. So we currently have 2,840 gold, 6,500 silver, 9 platinum, 4 gems worth 10 gold pieces. We have 4 art pieces, a scroll of protection from undead, horseshoes, and a bag of 11 sling stones. We're loaded, folks.
I know. I pushed that goddamn wagon all the way over here.
Has our wizard detected magic on the on those horseshoes and stuff?
We haven't had a chance for identify of much since we got this stuff.
Yeah. So maybe we should have Fred do the identify ritual while I keep watch on the first watch, since he's also on the first watch with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you can knock out a couple of them. Ryan, was
But
I
maybe
bringing any food?
you should summon an animal to help out with the watch, since you still have one left, I think.
Okay. Well, my analog dice rolled a 2, which is an ape.
That seems like a good pet to have in jungle.
The ape's name is not George.
And what are you doing now?
Well, I'm sitting down and using a ritual to identify the stuff while Adriana guards me.
Ariadna.
That's the right word. Sorry.
Okay, so the stuff that you have to identify, what are they again?
Well, there's that axe.
Then there's the bag with 11 sling bullets and some horseshoes.
The axe is a +1 battle axe. When you're attuned to it, you can use an action to cast spiritual weapon, and after you cast the spell, you roll a die 6. On a roll of 1 through 5, you can't cast the spell again until the next dawn. And it also has runes pressed into it, just like the Warhammer.
What does spiritual weapon do?
It's effectively a little spiritual weapon that has no AC. It's kind of a little invulnerable. And you make an extra attack as a bonus action, effectively using it.
And how long does it last?
1 minute,
1
I
minute.
think.
And I think you're the only one who can use it too. So
Yes. And I can attune to up to 3 things at a time, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sounds like a plan then. I will do that tonight.
it makes sense for me. So you take it.
And unless the DM wants to stomp on it, it should be able to flank with you.
Neat. But it takes an action to cast, right?
It's a bonus action to cast, actually.
Oh, nice. Does it get to attack on the first turn?
Is it a bonus action to cast it even using the weapon?
it does get to attack on the first turn. You can summon it. It attacks that turn, and then every turn after that, on your bonus action, you can move it 20 feet, and then have it attack anything within a 5-foot radius of it.
Nice.
Not everything, like just pick one though.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, and the horseshoes are horseshoes of speed. When they're put on an animal, they'll increase the speed by 30 feet.
What if I tied him to my boots?
Nothing would happen.
You're not an animal.
Hold on though. What if I nail them to the bottom of his feet?
It needs blood.
Then he would be in a lot of pain and would probably lose movement speed.
Yeah.
No.
Ow,
We just wait for a day
ow,
I've
ow.
got spells, and then I heal it around it, and then then it's fine. I'm sure, like with horses.
I think you need all 4 horseshoes attached to get the bonus.
Well, not to mention, typically
Okay, he's got
you hammer
hands.
horseshoes into the hardened hoof part, which Skippy does not have.
He's got toenails. We can go through those.
Wait, yeah, I was gonna say. I'm sure we can find some way around this.
He rarely
Like
uses
I
a
said,
promise stone.
one of these days I'll have spells.
Dr. Frankenstein over here.
And last but not least, the bag with 11 plus 2 sling stones.
Does anybody use slings?
No, but I was actually kind of thinking of picking one up down the road unless somebody else would like to use it.
Then it's all yours.
This is as good a reason as any.
I'm just gonna leave them with the group items for now in case something else comes up.
So you guys have your usual order for the night, and the night passes uneventfully.
Thank goodness.
So do we clear that exhaustion then?
Yep.
We get some hit dice back, and then what do we get back in terms of like actual healing?
1 plus your Constitution modifier.
And if need be,
any
you
spell.
could spend hit dice at this point too. It's just you will be without. next time.
How many hit dice do we get back?
Half your level.
So that'd be 1, right?
I think it rounds up, so you'd get 2.
Okay.
Now, Ryan, had you decided that the ones that you got back at the end of the long rest couldn't be targets for using at the end of the long rest? Is that right?
I believe spending hit dice requires a short rest.
Okay, well, I will wait then. So I'm only down 3 now, so how are you doing, Grun?
I managed to fully heal at the short rest before our long one, so I'm
Okay, good.
and I have all my hit dice back.
No one is exhausted anymore, so we're all golden.
Well, I think we should continue then.
Did Grun get spells today?
Ooh, good question.
Nope.
Grun has a feeling he's not getting spells back until we resolve this with Dowreth. I have a feeling that he is taking Kelemvor hostage, captive, along with the other gods.
Awesome. Okay.
Have you considered the power of Sharo?
Not even for a moment.
Understandable. I mean, if I had a god instead of a large pantheon of gods, I might have been a little more hesitant myself.
Oh, I do not judge you on your decision. Your faith is your own, and I cast no aspersions upon that. There's no other one than Kelemvor for myself.
Understandable. All right, so how are we going to get this wagon through this wood?
Slowly and carefully at this point.
Make a survival check.
All right.
Without magic, my other senses are heightened.
Sure looks that way. So you guys do find a path through the trees, and it's strange. You don't remember seeing a path in this direction when you went to sleep.
Definitely seems like a trap.
I think the druids are directing us towards the center.
Or the forest is.
Either way, I have a feeling it's likely not something that we can go against if it has the power to shape the forest.
It could be a trap.
We will simply have to stay on guard then.
We do seem to owe the forest.
Besides which, we don't really have much choice. We got to go to the center of this thing anyway.
Exactly. I was going to say, until given reason to believe otherwise, let's proceed on the hope that they are friendly.
Does the path lead towards where the bang was?
Yes.
Let's move out then.
Tally-ho, I will push.
I will pull.
I'll get in the back again and push.
I will remove you from the back again.
He'll look at you like frustrated.
Grun will thank you again.
Even with an open path forward, it's not easy going getting the cart through the jungle. There's still plenty of roots and vines across the path, but it's wide enough that you can get through, and it takes you the better part of a day before you come to some foliage that is extremely thick, and the path simply ends.
Not off to one side.
Excuse us. We've arrived.
Somebody go knock on a tree.
Gaelen will move forward and knock on a tree.
The tree knocks back. No, I'm just kidding.
I am the one who knocks.
An elven woman walks through the foliage in front of you, and it's strange how the vines and leaves move around her body to allow her to pass through. She stands before you and scowls and asks, "Why have you brought such undead vermin to our home?"
I'm going to look at Grun.
Awesome. Grun is going to step forward. We came from Korthun. We sought to deliver a tome. The leader of this undead plague sought it, but it was in a language we did not understand.
She cuts you off as soon as you start talking about the book and says, "Oh, it's your fault. Enter." And she turns around and goes through the foliage, and it parts wide enough to allow you to pass through with the cart.
Well, that was ominous.
Fault.
Onward.
Yep. Let's find out what happened.
You enter through the thick foliage, and it closes up behind you, and ahead of you, you see wide open areas with rings of trees spaced fairly close together. And she leads you through the grove to the center, where you can see a large blackened pit in the middle of the largest ring of trees. And she lets out a little bird whistle, and you see a large, colorful parrot come down from the trees and land, and it turns into this another elven woman, and she says, "I am Philerana."
I have a book for you.
Well, can we let's ask after Vinny first. Any chance he actually got here? Poor Vinny.
It is unfortunate that he found his way here. Yes, he was here and still is here in a sense.
Oh,
Aw.
poor Vinny.
He saw things.
And things saw him. He came here and told us of your quest, told us of this book that you carry. I sought to scry upon Corthun, where he had said that there was an undead invasion. I spied the city through the pool that had been here in the center of the clearing. Wicked, evil eyes stared back. I felt the chill of the undead, even from that great distance, and it was at that time that your Vinny began to convulse. I sensed that his mind was being probed through the scry, and I attempted to close it off, but the evil was far too powerful and befouled our scrying pond. Vinny fell dead, and the pond disappeared with a massive explosion.
Well,
Yes, it seems we are dealing with very great forces now.
I mean, what was your first clue? Was it when they locked the other gods away?
I'm going to look at Grun again and make a little gesture.
I think we should give them the book, yes?
Have you ever heard of the gods Dowreth, Shiro, and the Stormlord?
Yes,
Well, the two at least, Dowreth and Shiro, have made a return upon the world. Dowreth seeks to shut away the other gods for eventual punishment for perceived slights in the past. I know not Shiro's ambitions. However, there is a fourth. Murgafi, apparently a former pet of the two, has gained in strength, and its appetites could lead to destruction. And the Stormlord remains hidden. Dareth has begun sharing out his powers to anyone in the hopes that worship shall grant him greater strength to fight, and in the meantime weakens those of us whose gods have been shut away. We discovered that this book within our library was sought by one of Dowreth's followers, and we sought to keep it away. We have since discovered it was written in Dwarven, a language that only those of us who speak Orcish can even begin to somewhat discern, but we were told to seek you out, and that perhaps your knowledge would allow you to read this and help us perhaps prevent this threat.
as you've seen, the undead have difficulty traversing through the jungle. They have attempted to break through in several positions, but the trees have held them at bay. I cannot say that this will last indefinitely, but this grove has been safe from the undead incursion. I had guessed at some of what you tell me, but I am disheartened to hear it said. I have heard of this Cord Hammersmite who wrote this book, The War of Light and Dark, that you carry. When I was a young druid, I learned under the great druid, and he told me many stories from that time. I am sorry to say that I do not speak or read the dwarven tongue, but I can direct you towards the great druid who may be able to help you in this.
Please, I know our quest has already brought troubles upon you, but your assistance would be of great help.
I recommend traveling to Velshini first. Request passage through the jungle from Queen Yelana and continue on to Thorbald's Deep. It is in the mountains to the northwest. I cannot guarantee that you would have safe passage once you leave the jungle, for the undead are thick throughout the lands. I fear that the human empire has nearly fallen. If it is your desire to speak with the great druid, the way will be dangerous.
I fear that in these times, any path is a dangerous path.
Indeed. If you wish, you may spend time here in the grove. Also, I am certain that Queen Yelana would welcome you to Velshini. Our supplies here are modest, but we can help you as best we can.
A safe place to sleep and supplies for the road are more than we really could have asked for in this time. Thank you for your help. Should we think of anything else? May we bother you with further questions?
I'm going to nudge Grun and whisper, mules.
Let's worry about that on the way out. I think we're pushing things right now.
A place to rest for a moment is most welcome. We have been on the road and we have been pushed nearly endlessly.
Very well. You may rest here as long as you wish. There is no rush, for the undead pose no threat in this place.
Elder Filarana, what is a dwarf?
Dwarves were an odd people, warlike, not so much in the ways of the arcane, but they fought with weapons and muscle. They were looked down upon by most elves, and there is a long history of war between the two races before the dwarves eventually disappeared. They are a shorter people, stocky, and generally gruff in demeanor.
It is said that they were a great enemy to the undead in previous conflict. That without them, we perhaps do not stand a chance. Have you heard any rumors, any tales of where the dwarves may yet be?
Do not stand a chance. Tell me, was it a dwarf who told you that? For the elves fought the undead as well. And as you can see, we still exist, and we still thrive in our jungle home.
And we did meet a dwarven ghost, and he did not take kindly to elves.
That does not surprise me in the least.
I feel there still remains little love lost between your peoples.
Oh, there's little time for thought of the dwarves these days, since they disappeared from these lands.
Perhaps in the face of this new enemy, be more thought of any potential allies.
If you found dwarves, yes, of course we would work with them once more against the undead threat and push them back out of these lands. For the time being, our strategy has been to allow the undead to throw themselves at the jungle and whittle down their own numbers before we push back against them.
Well, I feel if that is your plan, I should forewarn you that there is at least one undead dragon amongst their forces. I do not know what you could do in defense against such a creature.
We'll face that challenge when it comes.
Seems fair. How about some sleep?
Some sleep, some food, maybe a little peace and quiet.
Perhaps some drink.
You should try and see if they'll stock you up on that too for the trip.
Yeah, they do have bottles of wine here.
Excellent. Most excellent.
So Grun would like to kind of head off into the forest, not super deep, but just go off to go off to a distance and pray for a bit.
Okay.
Nap time, Fred.
Yeah.
Gaelen, for each bottle of wine, it will cost 10 gold.
Oh.
Well, we have some party funds for that, I think.
Mm.
Grun, before he leaves, hears this and pulls out the little ledger he's started keeping. Nods his head. Yeah, there's enough for a couple bottles.
They really don't want him running out. Just saying.
Yeah, we don't like him when he's not drinking.
Oh yeah, I mean we can totally afford a case or two of wine to keep our friend in his preferred state.
They're all a bunch of enablers.
Grun will head into the back of the wagon. You'll hear something like ching 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 ching.
Is there perhaps any ale?
He comes back out and just drops 200 gold in Galen's hand for beverages.
Or beverages?
Fisty fuel.
Thank you so much.
I'll drop 200 in everybody's hands. Walking around money in case there's something.
Skippy's eyes will go wide.
Gaelen will speak Elven to any elf before he speaks Common. But he's poking around to find out if perhaps they have a tattooist here.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so Gaelen would like to have a conversation with him.
Okay.
Well met.
Greetings.
My name is Gaelen Elmthorn.
And I am Shuzen.
Is this also an elf?
Yes.
Okay, so the whole conversation's in Elven. Pleasure to meet you, Jem Shuzen. I am a tattooist myself, but I am without supplies. Do you have any that I might be able to purchase?
Of course I do. Yes. The jungle supplies us well with all manner of plant and animal that makes interesting inks of all colors.
Yes, I really do just need a basic kit. That would be great. Perhaps top up a little extra on the darker, like black. I also would like to propose to you, as a tattooist, I, of course, have inked myself, but there are places, of course, we cannot ink ourselves. Perhaps an exchange of skills?
I would be happy to help you in any way that you need.
I am in need of 4 new tattoos on my back. I need one of myself being devoured by a swarm of insects. I need another of myself being gored by a zombie elephant. I need another of myself being shattered by an orcish shaman. And finally, one being crushed underneath a zombie hill giant.
Those are very interesting tattoos.
Yes, they are to commemorate the times I have been killed,
Well, almost killed.
but for the grace of my cleric.
There's a difference between mostly dead and all dead.
So if we could work something out, I'm happy to provide you with some ink if you would like.
What level of detail are you looking for in these tattoos?
Oh, they don't need to be large. I'm going to need lots of real estate.
Oh, no, they will be small to fit 4 tattoos on your back. They could not be large, but I can work in varying degrees of complexity. I'm not sure if you want just simple tattoos, perhaps more symbolic than scenic, or I can create ornate small tattoos as well, which will take more time.
I think I trust in your skill and judgment. They need to be recognizable to people with less of an artistic eye. No color, please.
Very well, ornate it is. It will take a great deal of time to do your entire back in this way. How much time do you have?
That depends. I may be able to be here a day or two.
Even 2 days would, if I was working all day on such tattoos, would not be enough for even one of the type that you have suggested. If you had 3 days, I could squeeze one in.
I will have to talk to my comrades, and I may need to consider simplifying them.
Very well. The choice is yours.
Thank you so much, Jim Shizan. How much would you like for this kit?
Oh, I could give you a kit for 25 gold pieces.
Fair deal. And Gaelen pays him. We will talk again, Jim Shizan. Goodbye.
Farewell, Gaelen. Is anybody else going to do something here?
Did they have a blacksmith in town? Or, in the woods?
Not here. They say that there are expert blacksmiths in Velshini that would be able to do anything that you needed.
Sounds good.
Skippy's just trying really hard not to pickpocket anybody.
Yeah, you don't want to get banished.
I'm gonna keep one hand on Skippy at all times. Just to help him out with that.
Ooh, another leaf and a twig.
So you wanted to talk to us, Gaelen?
Oh, sure. Yeah. If the group is the group all together. I was wondering how long we were planning on staying.
I think we should stay the night and gain a little more information about the surrounding areas, perhaps some map advice on best path to take to Velshini.
Yeah, I don't think we should stay long. The longer we stay, the more they have a chance to corner us.
I also don't think that we should stay long, though I think as far as our being cornered, I think the implication is that we are already well cornered.
I don't think we have a whole lot of time to waste.
Yeah, I think this Dowreth person is working on figuring out how to murder our gods. So maybe we ought to, move it along.
I think Freddy agrees. Fizzle.
And fizzle?
He's barking at us from his dimensional pocket.
Yes, but we may not have a whole lot of time, but we also don't know when the next opportunity will arrive for a quiet, safe place to rest, a chance to eat some food and stock up on provisions and gather some
I
information.
think we should definitely stay through the day. I'm just not sure that we can afford to wait through several days for something that's not urgent.
All right, so when do we plan on leaving?
Stay one night?
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
It's still pretty early, right, today?
No, it took you the better part of the day to get to the Druid Grove, just because going through a jungle with a cart is difficult, and so it's getting closer to sunset now.
Okay, so in that case, if any of you have things that you need to do tomorrow, why don't we stay through tomorrow and then we will leave sunrise the morning after?
That sounds great.
Objections?
Excellent. For tonight, I'd like to see if there's someone I can get a map from or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes, I thought that it would be good. I spent a lot of my life in Velshini, but a map to that direction would be excellent. We should also talk to someone about, as Canary was suggesting, about picking up some new mules. Although we had trouble in the last Druid Grove on that.
Yeah, kind of the point is, very gently suggest perhaps it'd be nice if we had some help moving the cart and then let them come to their own conclusion, maybe. Because that cart's heavy.
That seems like an eloquent way to handle it.
Is there anyone selling any kind of wizard robe or anything like that that has extra armor on it that I could afford?
That's a good question. A wizard's robe. Not here, but they do mention that there is a powerful group of wizards in Velshini, and they might have extra magical items of whatever you need.
Okay, it was worth a check.
I get the sense that Velshini is kind of the next stop for all of us. Just a feeling.
Yep.
If all goes well.
Maybe ask one of the druids, since you're on such friendly terms there, Grun, if any of them would like to accompany us to Velshini. I mean, it didn't work out so well for Vin, but you don't have to tell them that.
No, I don't have to tell them that. I'm pretty sure most of them watched it happen.
Yeah, but that wasn't our fault.
Well, fair. Kind of. Sort of. Yes. Fair. This
And
is true. We did
if
not
he
originally
hadn't
set
run
the
off
boat.
without us.
All right. Once again. Fair. Understood.
So what's the decision for tonight?
We're staying.
We'll spend this night, the next day, and then leave the morning after.
Okay.
So 2 nights, 1 day. Leave it the morning.
Yeah, the Druid Grove is as peaceful as promised. There is talk among the Druids of undead incursions attempting to get into the jungle from the north, but it is handled easily, and there's no major problems as far as they're concerned.
So, any luck on persuading some or, like maybe one of them to come with us?
Well, I was gonna say, are we into tomorrow now?
Yes, yeah, we can start the next day.
Okay, then yes, I'd like to head to. Well, first things first. Where would be the ideal? I'd like to see if I can find a cartographer.
They do have some maps of the jungle area. They don't map out into like the human lands or the gnome lands or anything like that, but you'd be able to get a general idea of the jungle.
I would like to focus on a map that will lead us in the direction of Velshini. So just to see if we can figure out some ideal paths, areas to avoid, quickest route, kind of a thing.
Yeah, they do have a map. The quickest route would be to go outside the jungle and skirt around the northern edge until you get closer to Velshini, and then enter into the jungle again. Because otherwise, the most direct route is entirely through jungle for several days.
Is all of that jungle under the control of the Druids?
No.
Okay. But the warning was that at the outskirts of the forest, there's a fair amount of undead.
To the north, right?
Yes. To the north, there have been numerous undead attempts to enter the jungle.
And which way is Velshini?
And was that not the direction we need to go?
They say if you head to the north out of the jungle, you will probably run into groups of undead. So if you took a more westerly direction to Velshini through the jungle, you would avoid those undead, but there are other dangers in the jungle as well. Many wild animals of different types that have become restless. All right, so next time we'll finish our discussions with the Druids and start the journey to Velshini, whatever direction you guys decide to take.